The creed of assassins. Elusive. Silent. Perfect. Every kill a mark in history. Every day, possibly someone's last. Only with extensive training can one possibly find themselves to be on the same level as one of these absolute killing machines.
Next time will be better.
Unless you are Yasuke. This is a look into AC Shadows. Japan, a location Assassin's Creed fans have been begging for, that should have been one of the most easily adapted locations for an Assassin's Creed. The fantasy of shinobis taking out higher-ups to change power throughout the country is something the Assassins literally started doing in their origins. So why did it take so long for Ubisoft to actually get here? Apparently back in the Ezio days, Ubisoft said that they didn't want to touch popular times, hence the first game being in the Crusades. This was before all the Deuce of all means, of course. Then going to the Italian Renaissance, and then the rise of Constantinople. Then they started to branch in more popular times, the American Revolution and the Golden Age of piracy. As time went on, this rule started to bend until it finally happened. Origins. Set in ancient Egypt, a timeline Ubisoft swore to never visit, but doing so became one of the most popular AC RPG titles. But that's a debatable topic, depending on who you ask, honestly. But here we are, 13 games later, and finally the most requested game location was finally announced, as Assassin's Creed Red, now known as Assassin's Creed Shadows. And the journey to release date was pretty insane, not gonna lie. The controversial reveal of a female shinobi and a black samurai sent crazy vibes all over the world, calling it a DEI game, a woke game, and everything in between. While we will go into more details about this later, I will say first and foremost that I am happy with the final product. AC Shadows is up there with me in terms of my favorite AC RPG, but let's go into the good and the bad of this game. Because this game is far from perfect, but I do believe it's not as bad as everyone says. The story of this game is relatively simple, and honestly, cliche. But to be honest, so was Ezio's. Ezio's story in the beginning is a simple revenge story, but seeing the creation of his bonds with allies and then learning about his family's secret is done 10 times better than how it is done with Naue. But Naue's story, while similar context, is weaker than 10 years ago with Ezio. Naue is raised in Iga, trained without knowing under her father Nagato, who was an actual famous shinobi in the 16th century, which I did not know. Nagato was a member of the assassins in Japan. When Lord Obunaga attacked the Iga tribe with Yasuke by his side, during this attack, Naue was injured and her father was killed by a group called the Shinbaku, elite warriors who work with a secret unknown organization. As Naue recovers, she returns to Tomiko, a friend of the Iga tribe, and they begin their journey of going after the Shinbaku, recovering a box that her father deemed extremely important for her to guard with her life, and getting revenge on her father's death. While this is all going on, we learn about Yasuke, who came over to Japan by the Portuguese. While the game doesn't explain it, Yasuke has been in Japan for around 2 years. This is why he's able to respond to Lord Obunaga when he speaks to him in Japanese. I wanted to point this out because apparently that was a complaint to people. This is why I love history. Being able to decipher these with decent resources is awesome. Thank you to the YouTube channel, The Shogunate, for teaching me that history fact. Which unfortunately you need to double check your sources today because of the media outrage. A lot of online websites were updated by people claiming to know more about Yasuke than others, and straight up writing lies or making things up to pass on this information. Really scummy shit, honestly. Obunaga takes interest in the first black man in Japan, and allows the Portuguese to do what they want, establishing trade in Christianity. But he will be taking Yasuke under his wing, training him to be a samurai. While there is a debate on if Yasuke became a samurai or was simply Obunaga's showboy, we really don't have concrete evidence of it. Many pictures do depict him in armor, but many books mention Nobunaga simply prancing him around like a showpiece. Sadly, there is not much documentation with concrete evidence after this point. This is when Ubisoft comes in and writes the story with Shadows. which isn't the first time that we've seen Yasuke portrayed as a samurai. Japan's been doing it in anime and games. Without spoiling too much, the two meet up with each other under pretty extreme circumstances. Yasuke admits to being at Iga during the attack and actually killing someone very important to Naoe. But something about Naoe stops them from killing each other. Her father's hidden blade, which apparently Yasuke has seen before coming to Japan. Together, the two team up and go after the Shinbaku together, giving us two different playstyles. I honestly really enjoyed the story. Seeing Yasuke and Naoe interact with their allies and Japan as a whole kind of puts a smile on my face. It's two friends from different sides of culture coming together for a specific goal. They start to share a bond and even disagree with each other when they find their target. Naoe being more on this hell-bent revenge path, being younger, and Yasuke trying to uphold stuff he's learned as a samurai while also still getting revenge for stuff that happened in his past. Honestly, from what I could tell, and we will touch some spoilers here, so skip a little bit if you don't want to hear any of this, I have a feeling that they originally wanted the story to be about just Yasuke. Because near the end, Yasuke seeing the hidden blade starts to get revealed. He talks to his old Portuguese friend, who tells us a story all AC fans are familiar with.
Why have you come to me? I take your return to Kyoto as no coincidence.
I found a letter. I cannot fully understand it, so I was hoping you could tell me.
It is an oath to the Templar Order.
You know them?
Si. I have heard of them when I was in Italy. The Pope and three great houses were involved. The House of Borgia was one of them. Prominent noble family. They caused a lot of turmoil in Rome. Their thirst for power nearly ruined the city. I was there before I worked with Valliano.
What happened to them?
Eradicated, mysteriously. They say a secret organization put an end to their conspiracies, but not much is known.
Revealing that finally, after 3 RPG titles, the Templars and Assassins are finally back in the same game, with Yasuke taking the charge against the ones in Japan. Once attacking the final target, the game simply ends, which I am not a fan of. It feels like a TV show, and we just finished Season 1. With DLC confirmed, maybe that is the case, but Dead Rising 4 did it and nobody liked that. Overall, I enjoyed the story for what it was. It felt familiar to other ACs. A revenge story growing into a bigger concept with things happening in the shadows. Speaking of shadows, the gameplay is something I actually enjoyed the longer I played through the game. In the beginning, Naoe really did feel like a stealth-only character. Luckily, when you actually get good at the combat, she can start taking out multiple enemies in combat effectively. Not as great as Yasuke though, which I mean is to be expected, as that's his whole thing. Let's start with the shinobi. Naoe has access to her katana, her kusarigama, and her tanto hidden blade combo. The katana is a standard fighting weapon with her own unrealistic twist to it. No, seriously, she twists it. It's a reverse blade stance, which no one would have done back then. But its special abilities and being able to do the shinobi assassination makes it a very appealing weapon. Her kusarigama is actually my favorite weapon in all the RPG Assassin's Creed games for how unique it is, being able to attack multiple enemies at once and even do long-range assassinations. The hidden blade being brought to combat was the whole reason I bought this game day one, and unfortunately it's my least favorite weapon. The Tanto and Hidden Blade weapon is like the double daggers in Odyssey and Origins, but somehow worse. The enemies just don't react to your lights, which means that they will just hit you out of your chain, and her heavy attack is a stab that moves them around, no actual combos. As someone who misses the true Hidden Blade combat, it looks like we're still waiting. Unfortunately, if you want to dual assassinate, you need to keep this fucking thing equipped because she doesn't have 2 hidden blades like I thought she was going to. But she uses the hidden blade and the Tanto knife to dual assassinate. That's what I really hate about these special assassination abilities, because you can't do those special moves unless you have the weapon equipped. But with the way the weapons are stored on her, you could totally have all of them on her player model, and she would look perfectly fine. Naoe's parkour, however, is a 10 out of 10, and I don't care what anyone says. She is my favorite parkour assassin. Adding in all the flips and spins and the way she runs on rooftops, she can prone, she can hide underwater in puddles, and of course in the shadows. A new mechanic in AC where you can actually hide in the same room as someone if you are standing still in the shadows. This is amazing and I hope it's a staple from now on, which it seems it might be in AC Hex. Yasuke, on the other hand, I had the opposite problem. I love all his weapons and gameplay. He is so fucking brutal with his weapons and they feel so good to use. I am kind of glad I never streamed this game because I go back to the menu and switch weapons all the fucking time. The long katana is a perfect all-around weapon, the naginata has all the range you need, the kanabo is super slow but super powerful, the teppo, or as the Muskets and Medias fans remember, the tanegashima, is a fun weapon to use but weird in an RPG setting because not even a headshot will insta-kill enemies, even with a high-level weapon. And lastly, the Yumi bow might be a good weapon, but I like guns, so I never really used it. Still couldn't headshot anyone with it, so I don't really get the point of them. Yasuke can only hold 2 weapons at a time as well, and it is weird to me that you can't access one of his ranged weapons by aiming down like Naoe can with her kunais and shurikens. So, a classic loadout I would do, and why I swapped so much, was the long katana and the teppo. Honestly, if I could carry 2 melee weapons and access my ranged weapons through the aiming down, I would have been perfectly happy. But sadly, that's not the case. The meme of Yasuke not being able to go anywhere is simply not true either, to my surprise. He can actually climb things. While it is of course limited compared to Naoe, besides the grappling hook, he literally climbs like Jin in Ghost of Tsushima, but slower. When he pulls himself up, he takes a couple extra seconds. When he eagle dives, he takes a moment to recover, but literally it's the same as Ghost, besides being slower. So if people have a problem with the climbing in this game, they should have a problem with Ghosts as well. The RPG mechanics make a return. Enemies have health bars and armor, and you need to swing 100 times to kill enemies. I don't really know how to explain it, but it feels better than Valhalla, same as Odyssey, but not as good as Origins. See, this is why I'm not a reviewer, because how the fuck did that just explain to me how I think of it? Point is, the gameplay for both protagonists scratches something in my brain, and I enjoy both of them. While a lot of people who I listened to review this game simply said that they stuck with Naoe, I couldn't. I truly did enjoy the gameplay of both of them. Props to Ubisoft for making the 2 protagonists actually feel unique and different. Unlike the worst AC game of all time, AC Syndicate. Yeah, that's right, I'm right! No, I don't care if you boo! You know it! You admit it right now! You know for a fact it's true! While I am happy with the things they did in this game, there are some issues of course, and I'm not talking about bugs or shitty AI, like some people have been posting videos of. I literally couldn't create some, like the, oh, if you lay down they can't hit you. They must have been playing on the easiest difficulty, because on the hardest, trust me, they hit you. That's another thing. Don't play this on easy. Play it on the hardest difficulty, because this game is too easy. I will say personally, I did play the stealth on normal. You can set combat and stealth to separate difficulties, and the only reason I did before everyone comes after me is because the enemies will randomly look at rooftops. Not because you made noise, not because they found a body, just completely random. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like that. On normal difficulty, they would only look up if you made noise or if they found someone dead because they are actively looking for a target. What a nice quiet night. You know, I haven't looked up at the ceiling lately. Nice. Glad it's still there. Anyway, has anyone seen The Shogun? Not only that, the story abruptly ending really messed with me, as it felt like it was building up to something amazing. Yeah, the credits to see who the fuck came up with that ending. I know there's DLC coming that might continue the story, but it made me realize something while writing the script. This game can be really short. If you ignore all the side stuff, think about it. If you literally did only the main missions with the way it's set up, like they're in the middle and they're giant, and if you only did the main missions and didn't look at any of the side content, I know some people said they took about 40 hours to beat it, and that was so they could get the reviews out quickly. I swear, if I went back, if there's a new game plus coming, which I think there is, and only went after the Shinbaku, I could probably beat this game in like 20 hours. 10 if you skipped all the cutscenes. And sometimes, the main story mission is just the same mission you just did on the last target. Also, there's no unique assassinations like in Unity, Syndicate, or Valhalla. It's all technically free for you to do what you want, but there's no like hiding in sheets or appearing or poisoning or anything like that like in previous games. The only thing you miss is if you try to play it like AC is the dialogue when you're actually fighting the target, because most assassinations in this game will not insta-kill, especially main targets. But if you turn on insta-kill assassinations, you know, like in all but 2 of the AC games, you miss out on all that dialogue. And that's something you have to turn on. It is not standard like it should be. The dialogue in this game also sucks for the English voice actors. Don't get me wrong, I don't think they did a bad job with their sounding, but there's like random pauses. It's like the game's trying to catch up and register what your protagonist just said. I also don't think the facial features are really good at all. Now it looks so stiff in this game, rendered cutscenes and even pre-generated cutscenes. Meanwhile, Yasuke is full of life in his scenes. The side characters I found that can be your allies that you can summon to help you in battle and then they quickly disappear before the battle's finished. I only found 3 of them and I only liked 1 out of the 3. Yaya is somehow the size of a sumo, but she's not a sumo during what is basically considered a famine. So how the fuck is she so big in this timeline? There's no way to change the night and day cycle manually, so if you want to attack a floor at night, you will actually need to wait for nighttime. You can't just automatically change the seasons to be what you want, which sucks because I love winter in Assassin's Creed because we've only seen it a couple of times. And this game has the best weather and lighting system of all the games, but I can't decide when to enjoy it, apparently. These are my main problems with the game, honestly, but other than these pretty big annoyances, I really did enjoy my time with this game. I actually stopped playing it to make sure I got this review first without 100%ing it. I know this game had a lot of controversy, and Ubisoft's track record sucks. I do know this. We have no records of there being a female shinobi, but I do like her as a protagonist, and that also goes for Yasuke. The stiffness and the weird pauses and talking I did eventually get over, although it shouldn't be here in this day and age. I enjoyed my time in AC Shadows. Do I feel like I wasted $70? Not really, no. Like, I'm happy that this video is finally done so I can finally go back and keep playing it, and I do have at least 1 more video planned for this game. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Do you think this game deserved all the hate it got, or do you think people just hate Ubisoft more than they hate AC? And if you're curious on what the next video is, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click on that bell so you don't miss it when it finally releases. You don't want to be Ghost from the notifications. Oh yeah, we are totally comparing this game to Ghost of Tsushima.